see along a period horizontally from left to right atomic size decreases. So when atomic size decreases, the the outermost electron will come closer to the nucleus. Therefore, ionization energy increases. Okay, so this is one of the factor on which the ionization energy depends. So that means atomic size, as atomic size increases, ionization potential decrease. Okay, now let us learn the next factor. What is the next factor? Increase in nuclear charge. The next factor is increase in nuclear charge. What happens whenever the nuclear charge is increased, then the uh, the electrons are attracted towards the nucleus with more force of attraction. For example, let us take elements belong to second period. So what are the elements belong to second period? Lithium, beryllium, so in beryllium there are 2 electrons in the outermost orbit. In lithium there is only 1 electron in the outermost orbit. In the boron there are 3 electrons in the outermost orbit. So boron. So what happens actually? So along a period, if you see, along a period from left to right, along a period from left to right, horizontally across a period, or else along a period from left to right horizontally, what happens? So with the increase in nuclear charge, see actually this nucleus contains only 3 protons, but this nucleus contains 4 protons, 4 positive charges. This nucleus contains 5 positive charges. Okay, so the next carbon, so the next atom is carbon, and its nucleus contains carbon, 6 positive charges, and it contains 4 electrons in the outermost orbit. It contains 4 electrons in the outermost orbit. So what happens? So here from lithium to beryllium, if you see, so the electron is one more electron is added to beryllium atom, and one more proton is also added to the nucleus of the beryllium atom. That means here, when compared to lithium, in beryllium there is an increase in one proton and 1 electron. That means the nucleus will become more powerful in beryllium when compared to lithium, because lithium nucleus contains only 3 positive charges, whereas beryllium 4 positive charges. And from beryllium to boron, 1 more electron is increased and 1 more proton is increased. The positive charge or the nucleus power will further increase from beryllium to boron. So as we move from left to right, the power of the nucleus or the nuclear charge will keep on increasing. Here the number of electrons are also keep on increasing, but what happens? So the newly added electron will be into the same shell or else into the same orbit, second orbit only. So then the newly added electron here also into second orbit, here also it is added into second orbit. Okay, so what happens? As a result of this one, what is happening? As nucleus is more powerful, the distance between the nucleus and the second orbit it should be same. But as the nucleus is more powerful, what is happening? So the nucleus will attract all the electrons with more force of attraction. So that as a result of this one, what happens? When compared to the size of the lithium, the size of the beryllium decreases because nucleus is more powerful, and the added electron is into the second orbit only. So here the attraction of the this nucleus on the second orbit, it is less when compared to the attraction of the nucleus on the second orbit, because nucleus is more powerful. So when compared to beryllium in boron, the nucleus, it becomes still more powerful. Therefore the atom will shrink, or else the atom will get and the size of the atom will decrease further. So that means along a period from left to right, so what is happening? The atomic size decreases as the nuclear charge is increasing. So as the nuclear charge is increasing, what is happening? The attraction of the nucleus on the last electron increases. So when nuclear charge increases, nuclear force of attraction on the last electron increases. Therefore what happens? So it requires more energy. The energy to take out that electron increases. So with increase in nuclear charge, nuclear force of attraction increases. Therefore ionization energy also increases. So to take out this electron, one electron from lithium atom, so it requires some energy. But to take out one electron from carbon, it takes more energy. So here, as we move from lithium to beryllium, the amount of energy required to take out electron increases, and from beryllium to boron, it still increases, and from boron to carbon, and from carbon to nitrogen, and so on. So along a period, the amount of energy required to take out electron increases gradually. Right. Now what happens down the group? Down the group, see, look here, lithium, sodium. In sodium 11 positive charges, in potassium 19 positive charges. Okay, in rubidium 35 positive charges. So here, as we move, see, as we move down the group, so 19 plus, here it should be 37. 37 positive charges. Okay, 19, 37 positive charges. So here the charge of the nucleus also, even in the down the group also, the charge of the nucleus is increasing. Nuclear charge is increasing here also, because here nuclear charge is 3, nuclear charge 11, 19, 37. But here one thing is also happening. So along with the increase in nuclear charge, so there is also there is increase in the number of shells also. So here two things are happening. Nuclear charge is increasing, as well as number of shells is also increasing. Okay. But in period, the nuclear charge is keep on increasing, but the number of shells remain constant. In a period, what is happening? Number of shells remain constant, where along a period from left to right. But here down the group, number of shells increases. So what happens? The effect of increase in number of shell, it dominates over the effect of increase in nuclear charge. See, look here, whenever nuclear charge increases, what happens? The force of attraction should increase, and whenever the number of shells is increased, the force of attraction should decrease. So here both the things should happen. Due to increase in nuclear charge, the force of attraction of the nucleus on the last shell will increase, and due to increase in number of shells, the force of attraction of the nucleus on the last shell should decrease. That means here both the things should happen. Both the things are happening actually, but the effect of number of shells, increase in number of shells, it is dominating over the effect of increase in nuclear charge. What is happening here? The effect of increase in number of shells is dominating over the effect of increase in nuclear charge. So as a result of this, what is happening? the ionization energy will decrease, because when number of shells increases, ionization energy decreases, and when nuclear charge increases, ionization energy should increase. So which one is having more effect? Which one is having more dominating effect? So this one is having more dominating effect. So the increase in number of shells will dominate over the increase in nuclear charge, because there is increase in nuclear charge as well as increasing number of shells down the group. Both the things are happening. So but which one will affect to more extent? So this one will affect to more extent. So that means here this effect is more when compared to this effect. That means the decrease in ionization energy is more than the increase in ionization energy due to nuclear charge. So as a whole, what is happening? As a whole, there is an overall decrease in ionization energy down the group. So this is important. So down the group, what happens to the ionization energy? Ionization energy decreases, because this is having dominating effect than this one. Okay, so like this, these are the factors that affect the ionization energy. So finally we can say that along a period, ionization energy increases, and down the group, ionization energy decreases. So these are the things we have to learn, right? So these are the factors that affect ionization energy. Now let us learn another factor which depend upon the position of the another property which depend upon the position of the element. So we are discussing about the properties which depend upon the position of the element. First property we learned. What is that first property? Ionization energy. Now we are going to learn about the second property, okay, which depend upon the position of the element, is electronegativity. 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 What is electronegativity? Electronegativity is the property of an atom to attract electrons. For example, if there are two atoms, they form a molecule called as AB molecule. So AB molecule, it is formed from two atoms. AB molecule contains two atoms, atom A and atom B. See, how do they form? So this molecule is formed when atom A and atom B, they combine. See, actually these two, atom A and atom B, between atom A and atom B there is a bond. A bond is joining atom A and atom B together. Hence the molecule AB is formed. Always a bond means a pair of electrons. Bond means a pair of electrons. That means two electrons. These electrons are said to be bonded electrons. They are called as bonded electrons. Bonded electrons. Or simply we will call it as bond pair. Bond pair. Bond pair are nothing but bonded electrons. There are two electrons. That is why it is mentioned as pair. See, okay. So this is called as bond pair or bonded electron. So now one thing we have to see. Suppose here this is an atom and this is an atom, and these two electrons. Out of these two electrons, one electron belongs to A and another electron belongs to B. So the one electron is belonging to A and another electron is belonging to B. So initially actually atom A, atom B possess one electron each. So I am denoting one of the atom's electron, I am denoting with a cross, and another atom's electron I am denoting with a dot. So what is happening? So these two atoms will combine. How do they combine? So this atom will give one electron to form a pair, and even this atom also will give one electron to form a pair. Okay, now here a pair of electron is formed between these two atoms, and this pair is formed due to due to donation of one electron from A and one electron from B. Okay, so as a result of this, so a electron pair is formed between A and B. Now, so this atom possesses nucleus. Even this atom also possesses nucleus. So nucleus is positive charge. The nucleus of atom A and nucleus of atom B both are positive charge. Always nucleus will be positive charge. Now this is the positive charge nucleus. It will try, and electrons are negative charges. So as it is positive charge and these are negative charge, this nucleus will try to attract these two electrons, and even this nucleus also will try to attract these two electrons. Okay, now, right? So now what happens? This nucleus will pull these two electrons towards itself, and even this nucleus also will pull these two electrons towards that nucleus. So now where these two electrons will go? Will they remain in the center, or else will they move towards B, or will they move towards A? So it depends upon the attracting power of A or B. Suppose if B attracting power is more, then these two electrons will shift towards B. Actually they should be present at the center, but due to the attracting power of B is more, so what is happening? So that electrons will move towards B slightly. Suppose if attracting power of A is more, if attracting power is more, A is more, then that electron pair will move towards A slightly. Okay. Suppose if the attracting power of A and B are same, equal, then exactly they lie at in the center between the A and B. Are you following? So like this. So the attracting power of these atoms, as A or B, so the attracting power is said to be electronegativity. What is electronegativity? Electronegativity is nothing but it's a property of an atom to attract electrons towards itself. So here this is also having attracting power, and this is also attracting power, or else attracting property. So that property is called as electronegativity. Okay. What is electronegativity? The property of an atom to attract electrons towards itself. Okay. When combined in a compound. See here, this is a compound. AB is a compound. So these two atoms are combined now. So now this is a bonded electron pair. So this atom, if atom A is having more attracting ability, then it is said to be having more electronegativity. Suppose if atom B is having more electron attracting ability, then B will have more electronegativity. Okay, so electronegativity is nothing but attracting power of an atom. Electron attracting power of an atom. Electron attracting power. Electron attracting power of an atom is said to be electronegativity. Okay. Suppose if electronegativity simply I'll write En. If electronegativity of A is greater than electronegativity of B, what happens? In that case what happens? So the electron pair will shift towards A, atom A. Suppose if electronegativity of if electronegativity of A is less than electronegativity of B, what happens? In that case what happens? So the electron pair will shift towards B, this atom A and this atom B. So that electron pair will shift towards atom B. So like that, depending upon the attracting power of the atom, the electron pair will move towards that atom. So that attracting power is said to be, electron attracting power is said to be electronegativity. So we can define electronegativity like this. So definition I am writing. Definition of electronegativity. The property, it is a property. So it is a property. The property of an atom what? To attract electrons towards, to the property of an atom to attract electrons, to attract electrons towards itself, okay. When that atom is, when it is combined in a compound, when that atom, when it is combined, when that atom is combined in a compound, okay, when that atom is combined in a compound. So here atom A is combined with atom B in a compound. Now compound AB, what is this one? AB is a compound. In compound AB, atom A and atom B are there. So here the attracting ability, so the attracting ability, or else that property is called as electronegativity. Electronegativity is nothing but the property of an atom to attract electrons towards itself, okay, when combined in a compound, okay, when combined in a compound. So this is called as electronegativity. So even B is also having electronegativity, but its electronegativity is less, and A is also having electronegativity, its electronegativity is more. So this electron pair will move towards the atom which is having more electronegativity. Simple example I will tell you. Suppose there are two apples which are packed in a kerchief, let us assume. So which were kept on the table. So two apples were packed in a kerchief and kept on a table. And I ask, I'll ask 6th class student and 10th class student, I'll tell both of them to take that apples. So these two students will run towards the apple. Who? 6th class student and 10th class students, both of them will run towards the apples, that means towards the table to take the apples. So both of them will catch that apples, that kerchief, and both of them will start dragging. Okay, both of them will start pulling that kerchief towards themselves. So now the kerchief will move to more extent towards which student? Towards the 10th students or else towards the 6th student. See, we have to see, generally we have to compare that 10th class students will have more energy than the 6th class students. So obviously the 10th class students will pull that kerchief with more extent than the 6th class student. But still the 6th class student is showing his energy towards that kerchief and he is trying to pull that apples towards himself. But finally the apples will move towards 10th class students only, because he is having more attracting power, or else he is having more energy. So in the same way, here also, let us assume he is 10th class student and he is 6th class student, and this is apples, a kerchief, containing apples. So now this student will pull that electron, that apples, this student, 10th class students will pull that apple towards himself with more power than this 6th class student. Okay, as he is having more electronegativity, as A is having more electronegativity than B, so that electron pair will come towards atom A. Okay, so like this, the electron attracting ability or else electron attracting power of an atom is said to be electronegativity. Okay, right. Now we will learn how the electronegativity it varies along a period and along a group. So what are the factors that influence? See, before learning, actually electronegativity it can be measured. By different scales. So there are different scales to measure. Electronegativity. So what are those scales? So one scale is known as Pauling scale. Pauling scale. Okay. Next, Mulliken scale. And the third scale is Allred-Rochow scale. Allred-Rochow scale. Okay, so this is the most popular scale. So generally, in all the books, so we will use the values of this Pauling scale only. So according to Pauling scale, the minimum electronegative value is 0.7 and the maximum electronegative value is 4.0 on the scale. So in between there are so many values. Okay, there are so many values. So this is the minimum value and this is the maximum value on the scale, 4.0. So element fluorine possesses the maximum electronegative value among all elements in the periodic table. Okay, and the element of francium, cesium as well as francium. The element of francium and cesium also. The element francium and cesium, both of them they possess electronegative value of 0.7 only. So this is the minimum electronegative value in the Pauling scale. So it is 0.7 and the maximum electronegative value on the Pauling scale is 4.0. So here the maximum value is possessed by fluorine. Okay, no other element possess as much as fluorine. Okay, that means the highest value of electronegativity is possessed by fluorine atom. So like this we can measure the electronegativity on different scales. So this is the most popular scale known as Pauling scale. Okay, right. Now let us learn about the factors that affect electronegativity. What is electronegativity? Electronegativity is nothing but attracting ability of an atom. What attracting ability? Which they attract what? They attract bonded electron pair. Okay, now we will learn the factors that affect electronegativity. So we learn about the factors that affect electronegativity. So here also the same factors which affect ionization energy are also affect the electronegativity. So what is the first factor? Atomic size. Atomic size is one factor. Okay, and another factor is nuclear charge. Remember that. So electronegativity is inversely proportional to atomic size. That means when atomic size increases, electronegativity decreases. Okay. So in the same way, nuclear charge. when nuclear charge increases, electronegativity increases. So this is the relationship between atomic size and nuclear electronegativity and nuclear charge and electronegativity. Now if you see atomic size or else simply group, along a group, what happens? Down the group, what happened to the electronegativity? See, down the group, increase in atomic size, there is overall increase in atomic size. Down the group, there is overall increase in atomic size. Therefore, what happens? Electronegativity decreases. Electronegativity decreases. Okay, along a period, and here down the group, nuclear charge here when compared to nuclear charge, when compared to increase in nuclear charge, so the increase in atomic size, it is dominating. The increase in number of shells dominating. When compared to increase in nuclear charge, increase in number of shells, increase in number of shells, increase in number of shells dominates. As increase in number of shells dominates, as a result of this one, atomic size increases. So down the group, why atomic size increases? Though there is an increase in nuclear charge and increase in number of shells, but the increase in number of shells, it dominates over the increase in nuclear charge. As a result, atomic size increases. So when atomic size increases, what happens? Electronegativity decreases. Okay, so that is why electronegativity of if we take any group, electronegativity of lithium is it is greater than sodium. It is greater, actually lithium is 1.0, sodium is 1.9, rubidium, potassium 0.8, rubidium electronegativity. Down the group, rubidium also 0.8, cesium 0.7, See, look here, there is decreasing. So here and there may be some variation, but overall we have to see that there is a decrease in nuclear charge. There is a decrease in electronegativity down the group. Down the group means, so below lithium, sodium will come, okay, and below sodium, potassium will come, rubidium and cesium. See, as we move from lithium to cesium, what is happening? So electronegativity value is different, it is decreasing. Okay, along a period it happens. Here it is a down the group. See, down the group, what is happening? Down the group, as atomic size increasing, electronegativity decreases. See, down the group, we have to remember that. So this, when compared to increase in nuclear charge, the increase in number of shells will dominate. So both the things are happening. There is increase in nuclear charge as well as increase in number of shells. But the increase in number of shells will show more effect, okay, than the effect shown by increase in nuclear charge. The increase in number of shells will show more effect than when compared to the increase in the nuclear charge. Okay, so this effect is dominating than this effect. As a result of this one, atomic size increases down the group. When atomic size increases, automatically electronegativity decreases. Right. Now, also we have seen this one, and along a period from left to right, along a period from left to right, along a period from left to right, what happens? From left to right, so nuclear charge increases, number of shells remain constant. Nuclear charge increases, number of shells remain constant. Okay, so as a result of this one, what is happening? Atomic size decreases. Therefore, what happens? Electronegativity increases. That means from left to right, electronegativity increases. If you take example lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine if you take. So I am writing here. So I'll rub this one. Down the group already finished now. So we'll write elements period of any period. For example, take second period. Second period will take lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So what should happen along a period? Electronegativity should increase. So actually lithium possesses 1.0, beryllium is 1.5, boron is 2.0, carbon is 2.5, nitrogen is 3.0, oxygen is 3.5, fluorine is 4.0. Electronegativity value. See what is happening to the electronegativity. It is keep on increasing. It is gradually increasing from left to right. As we move from left to from one element to another element along a period from left to right. So gradually the electronegativity value is increasing. Gradually electronegativity value is increasing from left to right as we move from one element to another element. Okay, so like this, electronegativity is also another important factor. Okay. See, elements with one more thing. Elements with high electronegativity value. Elements with high electronegativity value are metals, non-metals. Less electronegativity value. Less electronegativity value are metals. Metals possess less electronegativity and more electronegativity it is possessed by non-metals. Non-metals possess more electronegativity. Okay, so like this we can discuss about the electronegativity. So which element possesses highest electronegativity? So fluorine is the element which possesses highest electronegativity in the entire periodic table. Right. Now we will discuss about the next property which depend upon the position of the element in the periodic table. So the next property is electron affinity. Electron affinity. Okay. For example, here this is the nucleus of the atom and these are the orbits. They contain electrons. Okay, they contain electrons. Suppose if I want to add an electron from outside, if I want to add an electron into an atom, suppose if I want to add an electron into an atom, already this atom is having so many electrons. and if I want to add one more electron to this atom, what happens? Look here, if I want to add one more electron, suppose if I add this electron into this atom, suppose if I added one electron into this atom, this is an extra electron added to the atom. Now when electron is added, in order to here this electron to be in this atom, this electron to be in this atom for forever, this nucleus should be able to accept it. This nucleus should be able to show force of attraction on the added electron also. If the nucleus of this atom show force of attraction on the added electron, then that added electron can remain in this atom forever. If the nucleus cannot accept that electron, then that electron does not stay in the atom and will be separated from that atom. Okay, that means here whenever the nucleus shows force of attraction on the added electron, then only that added electron will remain in the atom. Right, okay. Now here, as nucleus is showing force of attraction on the added electron, already we learned that whenever there is a force of attraction, there should be loss of energy. Remember, when force of attraction is developed, when force of attraction is developed, when force of attraction is developed, there will be loss of energy. Always there will be loss of energy. Okay. Condition, there will be loss of energy under which condition? When there is force of attraction is developed. So here that condition is met or not? Yes. When I added an electron to an atom, so that electron is attracted by the nucleus. That means a force of attraction is developed between the nucleus and the electron, added electron. As a result of this one, what happens? The atom will lose some energy. There will be loss of energy. There will be loss of energy by that atom. Okay, the atom will lose some energy. How much energy it will lose? The energy which is lost by the atom, that energy, it is called as electron affinity. What is electron affinity? Electron affinity is nothing but the amount of energy lost by an atom when an electron is added to an atom. Here, when an electron is added to an atom, so here nuclear force of attraction is developed. As a result of development of nuclear force of attraction, what is happening? So there is a loss of energy, and this energy is said to be electron affinity. Electron affinity, or simply we can call as electron, or else we can call it as electron gain enthalpy. Enthalpy means energy change. See, when an electron is gained by an atom, there is a change in energy. That means atom is losing energy. Atom is losing energy means there is a change in energy in that atom. So that changed energy is called as electron gain enthalpy. When an atom gains an electron, then there is a change in energy. So that change in energy is said to be electron affinity. That means there is a loss in energy, and the energy which is lost is said to be electron gain enthalpy or electron affinity. The amount of, I am writing the definition here, electron affinity. The amount of energy released, the amount of energy released by by a gaseous isolated atom. Gaseous isolated. Actually, this atom should be single isolated atom. Only into isolated atom only we can add electron. We cannot add an electron to an atom which is present in a grouped atom. Suppose one atom is there, and if it is combined with another atom, to that atom we cannot add electron. We can add electron only to that atom which is isolated. That means single atom. We cannot add an electron to group of atoms when they are combined. Okay, so here in this case we cannot add electron to that atom, but we can add an electron to that atom when that atom is in isolated form, that means in single form. So isolated atom, isolated, and that too in a gaseous state. Isolated gaseous atom. Isolated gaseous atom. So when an electron is added to, this is what? Isolated atom, and that too in gaseous state. So generally in gaseous state only we will get a individual separate atoms, isolated atoms, single atoms. Okay, in single atom only, in gaseous state only we will get a separated or else single or else isolated atom. Okay, the amount of energy released by a gaseous isolated atom when it accept an electron, when it accept an electron, okay, to form anion. For example, let us take chlorine. See if in chlorine there are 17 positive charges and 17 negative charges. So what is the overall charge? Overall charge we can call it as zero charge, because the total positive charges will cancel total negative charges. There will be overall zero net charge. What is the net charge on the chlorine means? Simply we will tell zero net charge. Hence it is said to be neutral atom. So to that chlorine atom, if I add one electron, that means if I add one electron, now what happens? Now the chlorine is having 17 positive charges but 18 electrons, 18 negative charges. Because one negative charge is added, one electron is added means one negative charge is added. So what is happening to the overall thing? So here 17 positive charges and 18 negative charges. Overall there is a one negative charge in excess. So that means this chlorine is having one negative charge in excess. So now it is called as anion. So chlorine is converted into chloride. So chlorine atom is converted into chloride ion. So it is an anion. What is anion? Anion means negative charged ion. Cl minus. Why I wrote -1 here? Because after gaining electron, the chlorine is having one negative charge in excess. As it is having one excess negative charge, so we have to write Cl minus on that. So this is called as anion. Anion means negative charged atom. Anion means negative charged atom. Negative charged atom is said to be anion. So that means the amount of energy released by a gaseous isolated. So two times I wrote. By a isolated gaseous atom, when it accepts an electron to form anion, so that energy is said to be, okay, anion means negative charged atom. So that energy, that released energy is said to be electron affinity. Okay, right. So simply I am rubbing it off. The entire process, it is generally represented like this. So some atom X, generally Electron affinity is related to non-metals. Mainly, non-metals will accept electrons. It is related to non-metals. Electron affinity is generally related to non-metals. Okay, na? Right. Suppose this is an atom, non-metal atom. It's a isolated gaseous atom. Okay. Now, if I add electron to that atom, what is this one? Electron. If I add an electron to that atom, what happens? It forms X minus. It is an anion. And there is release of energy. Along with the formation of anion, energy is liberated. Energy liberated or else released. Energy released or energy liberated. So it is called as first electron affinity. First electron affinity. It is called as EA1 also. EA1 because we have added only one electron to an atom. Okay. For example, take fluorine. Upon adding electron to that fluorine, it becomes F minus. Okay, F minus, and there is a release of energy 3.6 electron volts. See, what is the units of electron affinity? Units of electron affinity are similar to units of ionization energy. What are the units of ionization energy? One is electron volt per atom. Okay, kilocalories per mole or kilojoule per mole. So these are the units of ionization energy and even electron affinity also. Okay, so here what is the value of electron affinity? So the electron affinity of fluorine is minus 3.60 electron volts. See why minus sign here? Minus indicates there is release of energy. Okay, if it is plus, then there will be positive. The plus means absorption of energy. See, while writing the equation, simply we will write plus, but to tell whether it is energy. So here it indicates that there is a release of energy. So while writing in the equation, we will simply write plus, but separately we have to show it as minus 3.6 electron volts. Separately, when you write separately, you have to mention it as minus, because minus always indicates release or else loss of energy. So that atom will release some energy. So negative sign means energy is released by the atom. Negative sign indicates the loss of energy or else release of energy. Loss of energy or release of energy. Right. Now let us learn the factors. What are the factors that affect electron affinity? Factors that affect electron affinity. factors that affect electron affinity. The same factors, the same factors, the factors which affect the factors which affect the factors which affect ionization energy, the same factors also affect electron affinity. So what are those factors? One is atomic size and another one is nuclear charge. Nuclear charge. So when atomic size increases, electron affinity decreases. When nuclear charge increases, electron affinity increases. So what is the reason for this one? Here, why it is happening so?